Hey guys, this is Algebra I-B. Today we're going to look at problem set 106, which we are dealing with equations of a line through 2 points. You can see an example here on the screen. It says find an equation of a line that passes through the 2 points 4, 2 and -5, -3. Now something to keep in mind, this equation that we're going to write will be in the form y equals mx plus b. Okay, so first thing we need to do is we're going to need to identify 2 parts. We need to find m, which is the slope, and b, which is the y-intercept. So given 2 points, first thing is we're going to find the slope. And we have 2 ways to do that. One way is we can put the points on the graph and count rise over run. So if I take the point 4, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, that's right here. And the point -5, -3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, down here. If I want the slope of a line passing through those 2 points, I count rise over run. So I see how far up and how far over we go. So down here at -3 up to +2, that's a rise of 5. And from -5 over to +4, that is a run of 9. Now this line goes uphill from left to right, so that tells me my slope is positive, and it is up 5 over 9. Okay, now the second way we learned how to do this slope was with a formula. Not y. Our formula for slope says y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. What this means is we're going to subtract the y values over subtracting the x values. Now the order doesn't really matter which way you subtract the y's, as long as you subtract the x's in the same order. So when I look at this, the y values, I have 2 and -3. I'm going to subtract those, and I'm going to go 2 minus -3 over the x values. Since I went with 2 first, I have to use 4 first. So 4 minus -5. Now I chose to go this direction because I recognized minus a negative is going to turn plus positive on both parts. So on top I have 2 plus 3 is 5, and on bottom 4 plus 5 is 9. So my slope is 5 over 9. Same thing I got when I looked at the graph. Okay, so back up here to my original equation, y equals mx plus b. I can now replace m with that 5 over 9. And then, so we have y equals 5/9 x plus b. Now our challenge is to find b. Well, to find b, we're going to use one of the ordered pairs, and we're going to plug it in for x and y, and we'll be able to solve for b. So between the 2 ordered pairs, we just pick whichever one looks the easiest. For me, I would choose the point 4, 2. I plug in 2 for y, and my x value is 4. And now I solve this equation for b. It's going to have a fraction in it, and that's okay, we just have to be careful. Okay, so this is 2 equals. When I multiply 5/9 times 4, that's 20 over 9. Now to finish solving for b, I'm going to subtract 20 over 9. 2 minus 20 over 9. If I rewrite 2 with a common denominator, that would be 18 over 9. Minus 2 over 9 gives me -2/9 equals b. So we've solved for m, we found the slope m, and now we found our y-intercept, our b, is -2/9. So now we can write our final equation. When you write these equations, you have to have y equals something x plus or minus a number. So y equals mx, our m is 5/9. So we have y equals 5/9 x plus b, or since this is a negative b, we can put -2/9. You could have plus -2/9 as well. This is our final equation. Okay? We have to find the slope m first, and then find b, the y-intercept. Now let's look at over here on this graph where I found the slope over here. If I continue this line, here's my line, Does it make sense that the y-intercept is about 2/9? 2/9 is pretty small, just barely on the negative side. My graph, my handwriting is a little bit shaky, so it would be a reasonable answer for it to cross at -2/9, just below 0. So that's a pretty good answer. If I would have ended up with like +6 crossing way up here, then I know I've done something wrong if it's supposed to pass through these 2 points. Okay, those 3 points don't really line up. So check for reasonableness of your answer. All right, let's try another example. This time we have the points -2, 2, -2, -2, and +5, +5. I need to find the slope between the two and then find the y-intercept. Again, we're going for this equation, y equals mx plus b. So let's look at the slope first. This one I'm going to do just the equation, because this is something we really need to get used to doing. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we're going to subtract the y's over subtracting the x's. So the y values, I have a -2 and a +5. I'm going to subtract those. This time I'm going to use this 5 first. So I have 5 minus, the second one is -2, over. Subtract the x values in the same order. Since I used the 5 first, I have to use that 5 first on the x's. So I have 5 minus, the other x value is -2. And now we simplify. Minus a negative turns plus positive on both. So this one we end up with 7 over 7, which tells me my slope is 1. That one's going to be a little bit easier. So I go over to my equation, y equals, I plug in a 1 for m. So I have y equals 1x plus b. Now we need to find b. So to find b, again, we pick one of the ordered pairs. It doesn't matter which one we use. We're just going to plug in an x and a y value. I would use the positive one, 5 and 5. So my y value is 5. My x value is also 5 plus b. So solve for b. 5 equals 1 times 5 is 5 plus b. Finish solving for b. I subtract 5. Okay, this one works out nice and neat. b is 0. So we go back to our equation, y equals mx plus b, and we're going to write the equation, plug in our m, plug in our b. So y equals 1x plus 0. Now, I would be fine with that answer. We could write it a little simpler. We don't really need the 1 in front of x, because that's just the same as x. And I don't really have to show plus 0, so I could write it as simple as y equals x, but I would be okay with that answer as well. The thing you need to watch is the slopes. Make sure you reduce your fractions on the slopes. And then also just be careful of negative signs and make sure you have things done correctly. Okay? So, finding the slope of the two, between the 2 points, you can use this equation, which is what I would recommend. Be careful on your subtraction, especially with negatives. Or you could put them on the graph, plot the points, and count rise over run. Make sure you put in there if it's a positive slope or if it's a negative slope. So just be aware of that. You find the m, the slope, plug that into the equation, y equals mx plus b. Then take one of the ordered pairs, plug it into the equation, and solve for b. And then you can rewrite your equation with your new m and your new b, and you're done. Okay? So this is lesson 106, finding an equation of a line passing through 2 points. Good luck.